I'm your boy Ahmõse. Here's my paintings. Locking in with us. It's my first time going live on YouTube. Just want to see what it's like. You know what I mean? Today we're working on Skyline of Boston. I've been working on this piece for a while. It takes some time. It takes some time. So you're just gonna be patient with me. Be patient with me because I'm gonna go through it. I've been using Molotov markers, okay, to dot out my paintings. All right, for those of you all new here, I like to use these markers because it takes a little less time. If I just use a brush, it'd be a little bit more meticulous, and I don't got that type of patience. So I'm gonna go into this one. Right now we're gonna be working on this building here, which is in Boston, the Prudential Building, one of the tallest buildings in Boston. Very beautiful building. And then just kind of moving our way down. All right, and then eventually I'm gonna hit to the skyline, well, the actual sky. All right, but yeah, lock in with me. No music right now, cause you know copywriting and all that. All right, so it's a little quiet, but try and make it active. We are going with metallic gray and a cool gray to outline this building. So that's where we at right now as far as the colors go. I've been doing pointillism for about 7 years, maybe longer, 10. It's a style that I've grown to love and just made it my own. I've found my niche, as you could say, within the painting. So it's very unique. I like to do a lot of different things, as you can see, you know, realism, some abstract pieces, and I like to have stories be told with my pieces. Obviously, you know, I don't just throw shit out there for no reason. I do want, you know, my viewers to see something and, you know, gauge their mind either on a topic or just a moment in life. Yeah, so it's a bit of my style. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's do very great. We're just gonna work our way down with this. Just filling in dots. Originally, I am from Boston, Mass. You ain't know, now you know. And I reside in Los Angeles. I've been here for about 10 years. And Los Angeles is the heart of LA. I love it because it's nice out. Right now, it is currently about -3 degrees back in Boston. Snowing. Inches. I'm talking about, not inches, feet. And here in LA, it's about 70. Hot. I got my window cracked. It is a beautiful day. And that's part of the reason why I moved out here, because the weather. Can't beat Southern California weather, not even in the slightest. So part of the reason I bounced, move on my way up here, down here, however you want to put it. But yeah, LA's been a journey, man. Living out here pretty much alone. Not too much family, but I've grown to create a family out here with the people I've met, friends I've made, a lot of opportunities, work opportunities, creative opportunities, and I've come to build a pretty good foundation of not only a network, but just a lifestyle that I love and is respectable too. When I first got out here, I was coaching. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry, I was teaching. I was working for a nonprofit, focused on education, and that job was rigorous. Oh my God, they put us through the ringer and paid us pennies. But it was a great organization, and it's still thriving out here in LA. Doing God's work for real, working in public school sector and really giving back, and also preparing those who do put themselves in that line of service, preparing them for corporate world as well. because you're doing so much, not only serving the community, but just on the back end, a lot of documentation, a lot of deliverables, just like daily work that has to get turned in. So it also helps you on that, and if you move forward. And then if you're in education, you know, getting a hands-on feel for what it's like to be a teacher, working in schools, all that. So that's where I started. I mean, and then that same year, I met a lot of people. Our organization was 300 members, core members strong. So I got to meet a lot of people from different walks of life, different states here in California, as well as locals. And I think in Los Angeles, as you may know, if you are from LA, there are a lot of transplants here. And the hardest thing to do is meet people who are born and raised here, which is crazy. You know, you would assume that, you know, when you move somewhere, you'd be meeting the locals. And it's really not like that here. It's more the opposite. You're meeting people from any and everywhere. Very big tourist place. And when you're not meeting locals, you're not getting a great lay of the land, because everyone's perception of the place that they're living in is only based off of the experiences that they've gained since they got there, versus locals can tell you, like, hey, this is what to look out for. This is what it's really like out here. You know what I mean? And especially being in Los Angeles, where you got the fame, you got Hollywood, you got just so much going on. People get lost in the sauce. So luckily, when I got here, I got into a really grounded, not only organization, but just a community of people who don't live, you know, in that world. And they're just, you know, everyday citizens, and, you know, they give you the real rundown. You get to really have really good experiences. And also was living in the hood. Let's get that straight. I was in South Central when I moved out here, and that shit was a shock. Oh my God. Bruh, LA is different, you know? It is different, let's just say that. So I got a real experience in Los Angeles moving out here, and I'm very thankful for that, because that's the thing, part of the reason why I've been able to be here for so long, and not really lose my sense of reality or my soul. Thank God. Yeah. Say that. Now, in that first 2 years, you know, I switched jobs and was working other places, but I ended up. Let me backtrack real quick. When I moved out here, I didn't move completely alone. One of my close friends, DC, my brother, he moved out here a couple months after me, and we kind of planned to come out here together. And you know, he had his dreams of getting into comedy, right? So when we first moved out here, you know, that was his mindset, was like, yo, I'm trying to hit the stages and all that. So that's what we did. We were going out to comedy shows. He got his foot in. He ended up connecting through another organization that we was a part of when we was younger, with a good friend of ours now and our brother Melvin, and they started hitting the stages. I was going to comedy shows, and it was fun, bro. It's a definite, not something I expected to fall in love with. You know, people love comedy, you love to laugh, but to see the real insight of what goes into comedy shows, behind the scenes, just the community of comedians, and just like everything that goes into like a bit and stand up, and just, yeah. So it was fun, man. It was late nights and partying and shooting and, you know, creating, and also finding a love for comedy. You know, I've been to so many comedy shows. I feel like when I go, or even when I watch it on TV and stuff, I damn near feel like a critic, like an expert at this shit. Like, I can give you the rundown of like why the set worked, why it didn't. You know what I mean? Like, I can grade the comedian on their performance just off of different variables and different breakdowns. So yeah, it's funny. It's funny as hell. But I was low-key DC's manager for a little bit, short stint, and that was fun. And at the same time, I was also growing in my art. I was doing a lot of custom pieces, custom jackets, custom artwork hats. I'm sure a lot of my close friends have something of mine that I've created for them, some canvases, and finding my footing. And that's kind of when Pointillism had started. I remember doing like a small piece, I might still have it, of a tiger, like a tiger's mouth. And because tigers have like a very, very majestic, you know, coat, I was like, damn, how do I get this out? And at that time I wasn't really, I was painting a little bit. But then I think I went to an art store, and I discovered these pens. So I was probably like the first piece where I learned to like dot out an image, and I kind of fell in love with it, and then kind of just was like, yo, this is me. This is gonna be who I am, and I stuck with it, and I've what the fuck is not cooperated? Incorporated it into everything that I do, and now it's my style. So when you recognize Ahmõse, you can recognize my pieces, because not only is it Pointillism, but I feel like my Pointillism is different because I like to fill a whole piece. You know, a lot of people who use Pointillism, they'll just do the basic image. So it'll be an animal, and it'll be colorful, and right, but the background's white, or you know what I mean? Like it won't be fully dotted. It'll just be kind of like enough so you can hence what you're seeing, versus my pieces being like complete. This is all dots, right? So yeah, it's me, baby. Tag it. We're gonna keep moving along. I'm kind of going slow on this right now, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up real quick. Shut up, real quick. But right now I'm trying to get this outline of this gray, kind of fill in all the white places, and then after that I'm gonna hit the details. So usually use like a black to kind of fill in, get the details of the building done. I'm gonna add some lights because right now this is like a sunset in Boston, so some of these lights is kind of like popping in the office buildings. You know, I'd be late, and you might ask, why this view? So back when I was living in Boston, I would like to travel. As a kid, I didn't get rides a lot. Thank you, Ma. You know, at 11, she was like, you know, you're gonna take the bus, you're gonna take the train, and that's what I did. And it's a little, you know, at first it's frightening as a kid to like travel alone, have to find your place, find your way to different locations by yourself, and you're young, you know, it's a little frightening, but if you're young, you get used to it real quick. In Boston, luckily, we have a really good transportation system. Oh, okay, I'm not stretching, not really good, but we had a good, reliable transportation system. So you can get places, and it's a small city, so it's not like similar to New York or London, like, you know, you don't need a car, right? Maybe a bike or some shit, you know, you could take that, put down that, you know, but it's easy, very easy to get places. So I would travel a lot, go all over the city, right? Malls, like, I was going to Cambridge, going to Dorchester, going Mattapan, like all everywhere. Homies hit me up, where we going? Come on, let's do it, let's make something happen. And it's fun, you know, when you're young, it's good to travel, it's good to get out your block, get out your hood, you know, and not see the world, but just see where you live and experience different things. So I did that for a while, and as I got older, kind of started to fall in love specifically with Cambridge, not with Cambridge, but with the view of the city from Cambridge. So if I was standing, this is on the opposite side of the Charles River. Charles River kind of splits Boston, downtown Boston, and Cambridge in half, right? And it goes all the way to like Watertown or something. And I remember one specific day, it was kind of, you know, towards the end of the night, I had left my house. I just needed to clear my head. So I like took my bike and just started biking, hit Mass Ave, just one of the longest streets in Boston. And closer to where I'm from, which is Roxbury. I didn't really hit Roxbury, but by Roxbury, you took Mass Ave all the way up, and you would get to Cambridge and eventually Lexington and conquer all that, right? So hit up Mass Ave, Took my bike, rode all the way down, past Newbury, and hit the bridge. And then I kind of just stopped at this spot, and I was kind of just like enjoying the city. And this is around the time when I was planning to move, so it was just kind of getting a sense of like where I'm from, and it just a capturing moment of, you know, what I was really leaving behind, because I knew I was about to leave, and it kind of stuck with me. So this is why we're doing this. It's just a ode to the city of Boston. Such a beautiful city. I love it, man. Honestly, if the weather was better, I'd probably have stayed. That's really it. Like, people like, yo, why you leave? Like, what's, bro, that weather is different, bro. And then there's another reason, a little bit more darker. I don't want to say darker, but it's just real, honestly. Like, I mentioned Boston. Another question people tend to ask is, are there black people there? Yeah, we everywhere. What you talking about, bro? There's black people everywhere. There's black people in Alaska, bro. There's black people in Antarctica. Well, maybe not there, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we everywhere. So, as Boston is very diverse. It's a very diverse city, and there's a lot of black people, and a lot of just African Americans and people of the diaspora of Africa, right? Different walks of life, and because of that, and the history of the city is one of the, you know, oldest states in America, 13 colonies, and it just has a very deep history, and there's been a lot that's gone on over there. So people assume that it's mainly white, and that's not completely true, but it's definitely ran by completely white people, specifically the Irish. And because of that, it's just a very big imbalance, and it's hard to find opportunities as a person of color in Boston. Unless you know people and your network is good, it's hard to make it. So I kind of realized that on top of the weather, and I was just like, I need a different, I just need to find a different place to live. Let me try something new out, right? And reset. So opportunity came along. I got a job. Opportunity was in Los Angeles, and I was like, I'm out of here. That's exactly what I did. I cannot find a capture this, but we don't need it. Okay, find it later. So yeah. But again, very beautiful city, and the people there are amazing. And you don't realize that until you go somewhere else, you know. I've also traveled to a lot of different states when I was a young kid. Got family in Baltimore, family in Georgia, mostly on the East Coast. Not too many people on this side of the nation, right? So even though I did travel a lot, you know, you realize it's just depending on where you are, people behave differently, good and bad, right? And there's just a stigma of every state you live in. There's people either you got Southern hospitality, or, you know what I mean? It's just different, right? And moving out to LA, you realize that people are a little bit more passive aggressive, whereas Boston is what could seem like rude, just more real. You know, you don't realize that when you don't live in another place. Now I live somewhere, now I realize, oh, okay, like, I can respect this about where I'm from versus, you know what I mean? So, and there's no shitting on LA, because I feel like that also ties into the transplant thing, because a lot of these people are from here. So those people who are giving off this energy are just portraying what they want to assume they should. You know what I mean? It's not like when you meet LA natives, you get the real, but it's very rare to meet them, depending on where you are. So, but that's that. Now, this process takes a while. This is why it's called patience and pointillism, because even though I'm yapping a lot, I am talking a lot. It's a lot of dots that have to get into this. And it could take roughly like a good hour to finish just a specific, slice of the pie. But when it's all said and done, it's just more meaningful. And as anything that you do in life, it should be transferable to other things in your life, right? Realizing that the process is just about the small repetition, about doing something over and over again, and eventually that bigger picture will come to light, Trust in the process. Very grounding. That's why I love it, because it brings me a little bit of peace in knowing that I just have to not think about all of this, but just lock in and just take one step at a time, but really it's one dot. So, yeah. And life is, the world we living in right now is crazy. So, I would hope that in the future that, as I continue to do this, I just bring positivity to y'all. Yeah, my purpose is, and all of our purposes is to create. And while we create, to give back, right? It's just about give and take, but creation is the biggest part of it. So I plan to be consistent with this. I need to, because it is a gift that I've been given, and I need to share it with the world. I need to be consistent with sharing it. And I've realized that the purpose, I'm not gonna say that this is my life purpose, but I feel like my life purpose is to coach. And that's, what I hope and I strive to do right now is coach and painting and coach and everything that I've picked up as a talent, to return it to the younger generation, the older generation, right? Whoever needs that, right? Just some positivity in this world, because in the midst of everything that's going on, there's still beauty in just the simple things. So, sometimes I sit on social media and we get caught up in a whirlwind of BS. Sometimes you just need that cleanser. We call it palate cleanser. Of just something beautiful. Just need to hear it, see it, feel it, sense it, all that. And be thankful. Be thankful for the opportunity to just be at peace, to breathe. That is one of the best gifts. I'm not 100% religious, I consider myself more spiritual, but one of the most beautiful things that I've seen for those who believe in God, and is that God, or Yahweh, is your breath. The inhale and exhale is literally Yahweh. That's amazing. Like, you do it every day. You say it every day. How many times you read a day? It's a consistent thing. So, many blessings to y'all, Whatever you're going through in life, know that you will get through it, because I ain't really ever met any problem that I have faced, big, small, that I ain't got through. getting through it doesn't mean that it's gonna be positive, but you're gonna get through it. Ain't no stopping. I mean, unless you, yeah, it's life goes on. That's for damn sure. Life goes on. So just stay positive in it. Find some type of light, and whatever that's going on in your life, find some type of light. So if you can hold on to that, and you can just change your perception on it, you know, while we have that shit, then it can change somewhat of your future. I mean, thinking is probably about the only thing we got in our control right now. Is our thoughts. And even sometimes with the way technology is moving, you don't even feel like you're thinking your own thoughts. Like what? So do it while it's free. Control it while it's free. Alright. About halfway down the building. Now, a lot of times, just cover spaces, but eventually you can go over things. So I love painting. You make mistakes, but mistakes can be fixed. So, you know, I'm just trying to get this general sense of the building done, so then I can add the details of it over spots that I missed. Alright, this building has a sense of like, it's kind of like a glass building, but it has a lot of just columns and layers. We have these big columns, and then we have like a lot of little columns that kind of stripe out the building. At the top, there's like this viewpoint that they kind of just built in, because when I was living there, I don't remember being able to go to the top of the Prudential and seeing stuff. But maybe that's something new. And then also reads Prudential at the top. I'm gonna probably try and add the letters. I don't know. We'll see. I'll look into that. But I gotta actually like Google search that and see what that looks like first. A lot of times, you know, you make pieces based off of memory, and then sometimes you gotta look at, you know, because this is a skyline, I do need to get a little bit more perspective and actually look at images to make it seem more realistic to what you know, painting. Yeah, I don't want it. I'm not gonna say that this is a perfect image of the city skyline. Like, some things are altered. This building does not look like this. Like, you know what I mean? But that's what I saw, right? So yeah, things are a little bit out of place or whatever the case may be. I definitely wanted to capture the sit, go build it, or sit, go sign, and you know, it might not be completely, you wouldn't be able to see it this clear, like, or this building might be a little taller, you know what I mean? So that's where that's at. But do our best. Now, I'm not gonna bore you too much. I'm not gonna stay on here too long. I'm gonna continue, but you know, this is just me, my first attempt at going live. Ain't got no viewers, and that's cool. It is what it is. But you know, I'll post this, and hopefully people see it, and then start to stream and come in. But just know that if you are one of those first people, you was here at the beginning. You know what I mean? One of the OGs. Yeah. So, as they all say, the 3 or 4. Like, comment, subscribe, and share, baby. Yeah, it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow into something amazing, and the dreams that I have and the vision I have for this is something special. So lock in with me. If you are commenting, please drop your name and let me know that you locked in, so that eventually when I'm starting to give and sell, or I can, you know, hey, you was one of the ones, sign it, boom, you got an OG piece, or you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna look out for you. If you look out for me, I'll look out for you. So I live on that. Alright, I appreciate y'all. I know we ain't really do much, but you can see this like progress has been made, as always. Alright. Again, this is Patience of Pointillism with your boy Ahmõse. Episode 1 of Alive. Love y'all. Peace.